You guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you guys haven't forgotten about me. This has been a Genshin week, like with the release of the new region Fontaine, the underwater exploration and all. It's been taking all of my time. But that doesn't mean I haven't forgotten about Star Rail. Even at a time like this, we still ride two boats at once. And so I'm back with another HSR video. I think it was the day before yesterday that we had the patch livestream, which I couldn't stream, unfortunately. But now we all know about the 3 new characters coming in the patch 1.3. Starting the patch, we have the God mode Dan Heng, IMBIBITOR LUNAE in the first half, and then Miss Fu Xuan and Lynx in the second half. So before deciding who to pull for, let's go through their kits first. And in this video, we'll be looking at one of my favorite characters in the whole game, the High Elder IMBIBITOR LUNAE. We'll go through his entire kit, Eidolons, talk about his builds, and finally some team synergies. So without further ado, I'm Sho, and this is my pre-release analysis for IMBIBITOR LUNAE. So LUNAE is the first imaginary character following the path of destruction. In HSR, imaginary roster has been quite short of characters. Up until now, we only had 3, 2 5-stars and 1 4-star. And looking at them, the imaginary rosters overall have pretty insane characters like Wealth and Luocha, but we still lack in the damage department. Yeah, people are using Wealth as a DPS, but still, we need that solid anchor, and LUNAE seems to fit that position perfectly. He has insane damage multipliers, and as a destruction character is not as of a glass cannon like Sealy. His main charm is going to be his enhanced basic attack mechanics, which you can enhance up to 3 times, but that would cost a lot of skill points, right? And so LUNAE might be a bit skill point hungry overall, but there are ways to go around it, which we will look at in his traces. Speaking of which, let's start with his traces. His basic attack is going to be the bread and butter of his kit, but not the normal one when he just uses a 2-hit attack and deals imaginary damage to a single enemy target. This is the base version of his basic attack, which you wouldn't be using a lot, but this basic attack changes when you enhance it, and this is where his skills come into play. His skill is not an attack ability. When you use it, you will enhance LUNAE's basic attack. It's kinda similar to Blade's, but unlike Blade, you can enhance LUNAE's basic attack 3 times. Pressing the skill once will enhance the basic attack 1 time, and you can press it 3 more times to fully max enhance his basic attack. Using the skill will not end your turn will end when you use a basic attack after the skill. Now here, if you go a bit deeper and look at all his levels of his basic attack, apart from his base level, the level 1 basic attack, Transcendence, unleashes a 3-hit attack and deals imaginary damage to a single enemy. The level 2 basic attack, Divine Spear, unleashes 5 hits of attack and deals massive imaginary damage to a single enemy and minor imaginary damage to adjacent targets. Also, LUNAE obtains 1 stack of Dominating Roar, each before unleashing the 4th and 5th hits of this attack. That is a total of 2 stacks. Also, Dominating Roar increases crit damage, so that means LUNAE's damage will increase after the 3rd hit. Finally, the level 3 basic attack, Fulgurant Leap, unleashes 7 hits of attack to deal massive imaginary damage to a single enemy and imaginary damage to adjacent targets. And same as level 2, obtains 1 stack of Dominating Roar, each before unleashing the 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th hits of this attack. Now this is going to be his peak damage. Having high damage multipliers and gaining 4 stack of crit damage will result in crazy numbers. I can already imagine some crazy showcases with him. Now even though this damage does look impressive, you will still need to charge up his basic attack 3 times, and that means consuming 3 skill points in 1 single turn. I guess we'll need to optimize his skill points needs through better team comms, but there is a kind of a leeway here with the help of his ultimate. LUNAE's ultimate deals massive imaginary damage to a single enemy and deals imaginary damage to adjacent targets and gains 2 Squama stacks. Now these stacks helps LUNAE with his skill point needs. LUNAE may consume an equivalent numbers of Squama stacks instead of the skill points. You can hold up to 3 stacks in total, but it most likely won't come to that unless you use his ultimate twice in a row. Apart from this utility feature, this ultimate does have impressive numbers. It seems his whole kit is revolved around damage, and looking at it makes me think of him as a hunt character than a destruction character. His talent Righteous Heart increases damage dealt after each hit per attack. This means his damage will increase after every single hit, and since all of his attacks have multiple hits, this will be a massive damage increase. Keep in mind that this damage increase is different from the crit damage buff that you get from his level 2 and level 3 basic attack. That buff only activates from the 4th hit, but this damage increases starts from the 1st hit, and this effect is stackable up to 6 times and lasts until the end of this character's turn. Man, he has some insane kit design. Finally, his technique. LUNAE enters the Leaping Dragon state, and in this state, when he attacks the enemy, LUNAE will deal imaginary damage to all the enemy and will gain 1 Squama stack upon entering battle. It will be like entering the battle with 1 extra skill point. For LUNAE, this technique is going to be very important. Alright, before giving my overall thoughts, let's skim through some of his passives. His first passive will increase crit rate by 12% when dealing damage to an enemy with imaginary weakness, which should be all the time. His second passive increases the chance to resist crowd control debuffs by 20%, a very good passive to have for a damage dealer. Finally, his third passive regenerates 15 energy at the start of the battle, which is actually great for LUNAE because you want to use his ultimate a lot for the extra skill points. The extra stat bonuses are also great, giving LUNAE crit rate, imaginary damage boost and HP. Attack would be better here, but I guess it's okay. So overall, if I have to compile all those info in one word, I just say pure damage. It's 2 words, alright? But like you get the point, right? His whole kit screams damage. From his abilities to his passives, all make sure to dish out as much damage as possible. Also, the sheer amount of damage buffs he gets, like the damage increase and crit damage increase, are insane. Mark my words guys, he will be setting new damage records after his release. Now having this straightforward kit also makes Lunae easy to build. Here are some build recommendations. For relics, there are only two options that I would suggest: the Musketeer Wild Wheat and the Wastelander set. The Wastelander is going to be his best in slot for of course giving him crit rate and crit damage, but you have to play him with characters like Well who can imprison the enemies. But the other and also great option will be the Musketeer set, giving him attack, speed and increased basic attack damage. All three are great for Lunae. You can also mix and match the Musketeer and Wastelander set if you don't have a 4-piece set, but I would highly recommend to go for either of the 4-piece set. For the ornaments, the best is going to be the Arena set, giving him crit rate and increased basic attack damage. Now the 70% crit rate condition might be unreachable for some of you guys, but just hear me out. Lunae gets extra crit rate from his stat bonuses, so with decent stat distribution you should be able to reach that 70% threshold. But if you cannot, don't worry. In that case, you can just use the Herta space set for extra attack. Now I wouldn't recommend the Inner Salzado that much because it gives increased ultimate and follow-up attack damage, and Lunae doesn't have a follow-up attack. But the increased ultimate damage can be good as well, and the condition is only 50%, so it should be easier to reach. For stats, it's extremely simple. Just focus on damage stats: attack percentage, crit rate and crit damage on the body, attack or speed on the boots, imaginary damage on the sphere, and attack or energy regen on the rope. Yeah, that's right. Since Lunae gets so much damage boost and attack from his traces, an energy regen rope can also be a great choice. As for substats, focus on crit, attack and speed in that order. Moving on to his light cone choices. Now when it comes to light cones, Lunae is extremely free-to-play friendly. His signature Brighter Than the Sun is obviously going to be the best in slot, giving him a lot of crit rate, attack and some much needed energy regen rate, which is also the most precious stats in the game because you can only get that stat from either a rope or a light cone. But that doesn't mean you have to pull for it, right? The free destruction light cone from the Herta store is going to be a great option to go for, giving your Lunae a lot of attack. Also, if you have the Clara light cone, then that can also be a great choice. As for Blaze light cone, it's decent but not that good for Lunae. As for 4 stars, a Secret Vow again is going to be an insane option, especially at high superimposition level, as this light cone at S1 provides the most amount of damage boost among all the destruction light cones. Other than those, the most welcome you is also a good choice for extra basic attack damage boost. Finally, some team synergies. Now this part is kind of confusing for me as well. First, I thought the best choice will be to go with the same team as Blade with characters like Bronya, Silverwolf and Luocha, but Lunae is quite different. Blade do not need that much skill points, but Lunae is the exact opposite. So you need characters who can do their job without taking that much skill points. It would need some testing to be sure, but still, here are some recommendations. First, you need someone to generate skill points, and the best choice is obviously going to be Luocha. He can heal and cleanse debuff without consuming any skill points. So if you have him, great. If not, then you can use any other healer or shielder with him. Next, you need a debuffer. The best in my opinion is going to be Silverwolf, of course, as she can decrease defense of the enemy, and without even using her skill, she can put a lot of debuffs just from her basic attack. A good alternative is going to be Pella. She has an AoE decreased defense, which is great for Lunae. Next, we need a buffer, and here the best buffer, Bronya, is not so much recommended. Bronya uses a lot of skill points, and you want to save as much skill points as you can. That's exactly why I wouldn't recommend Yukong, as she also uses a lot of skill points. The best choice in my opinion is going to be Tingyun. She increases attack and gives energy. Both are very much appreciated by Lunae. Also, one other tip, if you're using the Wastelander set, you'd want someone to imprison the enemies to take full advantage of the Relic set. Then you can use your Well in place of Silverwolf if you have him. You can use the Light Cone Resolution Shine on your Well to decrease enemy defense. Just a tip if you have a Well. Alright, before finishing this video, let's talk about some cash gaming. The Eidolons. Now when I look at Lunae's Eidolons, I'm like, yeah, it's like his damage wasn't crazy enough. Here are some more buffs which can make your Lunae reach godhood. His E1 increases the number of stackable Righteous Heart stack, which is the damage increase per hit he gets from his talent by 4, and 1 extra stack of Righteous Heart will be gained for each hit per attack, which means he will get more damage and stack up faster. His E2 advances Lunae's action forward by 100% after using his ultimate and gain 1 extra Squammer stack. That means you can use his ultimate and then straight go with a level 3 enhanced basic attack. Man, the damage is gonna go through the roof. His E3 and E5 are level of Sorry's traces. His E4 makes the buffs provided by Dominating Roar persist until the end of his next turn. Dominating Roar is the crit damage increase that you get from a level 2 and level 3 basic attack, and with this your buffs will last for your next turn as well, meaning more damage. Yeah, keep it coming, no one's complaining. Last is E6, makes it so that after any other ally uses their ultimate, the imaginary rest pen of Lunae's next level 3 basic attack increases by 20% up to 3 stacks, which means his level 3 basic attack can now penetrate imaginary resistance by a total of 60% at 3 stacks. Man, the damage, yeah, just make him more insane. Hell, just nuke the shit out of everything in the game at this point. Overall, his Eidolons are insane. Every single one of them is crazy, and also every single one of them is unnecessary. Lunae at E0 0 is already an insane damage dealer. You don't need more than that. If you have excess amount of strategies, just spend on his light cone and then just save for the future characters. Lunae is crazy with his damage already. Might as well call him damage at this point. Yeah, after this point, I will call Lunae damage. Just damage. So overall, you don't have to go for extra Eidolons for Mr. Damage over here because his damage is already crazy enough. And there you have it. These are my thoughts on the first ever imaginary DPS in Honkai Star Rail, IMBIBITOR LUNAE. After looking at his kit, I finally feel that it was worth it to skip Kafka and Blade to save for Lunae. Everything about him is just awesome. From his drip to his damage. Everything is insane. I hope you guys have saved enough J's for him. I will be pulling for him live on the day of his release, so catch me live for some fun time. With that, thank you very much for watching. If you found this video helpful, drop a like and subscribe for more Star Rail and Genshin content from your story. And share your thoughts on his kit and overall design, as well as how much have you saved up for him in the comments. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in my next video.